Hello again. Welcome back to more mysterious recipes with me and her.
Hello everyone.
Today we are back on our Coffees of the Month inspired by Nancy Drew, Mystery of the Seven Keys, and we are working on May.
Yes.
And just to make sure we have the phrasing right, in May his maiden collects flowers. So, floral coffee, always pretty, always fun. And you can do this more for a floral flavor or more for just the aesthetic of a florally garnished coffee. How floral you want it to taste is up to you. But we are going to start off with one of my all-time favorites when it comes to coffee, which is a lavender syrup and our obsession with lattes. We're trying to not do lattes for every month, but we just really like lattes. So
Hey, it's okay. That's all they made at the coffee shop anyway.
that's true. So, I mean, we're just being game accurate, right? We promise we'll do something other than a latte again before we finish the whole series. But we're going to be doing a lavender syrup latte. So let's get our lavender syrup going. Unlike last time, this isn't going to be a thick reduced syrup. We are going for more of the lavender flavor in a lighter syrup. We are using honey again, because we want to keep it with the bees and flowers note, so we want to stick deliberately with honey. We got a nice big jar of lavender flowers. Does that not smell incredible?
It actually smells pretty nice.
I love lavender. Like, the smell of lavender is one of my all-time favorite smells. I have lavender essential oil that I use all the time. I have lavender lotion. I have lavender soap. I have lavender tea. I have lavender linen spray. I have lavender perfume. I just really like lavender, which if anyone else understands me, comment down below, because that's something we can bond over.
Alright, let's get started.
The smell just makes me so happy. But yeah, we're gonna make just a very easy syrup with lavender as our base. So the syrup is really easy. We're putting half a cup of water in a pot. We're going to put 2 tablespoons of our dried lavender flowers. You can find these in some nicer cooking stores, grocery stores. I've gotten dried lavender flowers before at TJ Maxx if you just want like a smaller bottle. Those were pretty good. They lasted me a long time. I eventually ran out. Right now, this container here, I bought a bag of them on Amazon. To make this just a hint more floral for the syrup itself. And I've got some dried rose petals from my garden last year. Let's just add like a good pinch of rose petals because they do give a very floral flavor. I don't really want to overdo it right now. So roses are edible, but if you source these, if you pick them from a rose plant, make sure it's one that hasn't been treated with pesticide or anything like that. Don't just buy roses from the flower section at the store fresh. Those generally are going to have been treated. Either buy some dried flower petals that you know are safe, that are food grade, or you can leave the stuff out. This is really going to be more to give it just kind of a flowery taste. Honestly, the best way I can think to describe how rose petals taste, it tastes like you're drinking a vase of flowers.
Wow, that sounds delicious, Emily. Thanks for putting that in there.
That's why we're going very light on the rose petals in the syrup. We're going to add some more on top, probably as garnish at the end, just to make it look pretty, but we don't want to overdo it in the syrup itself. Okay, so we have those in the pot. We're going to bring that water up to a boil, and as soon as it reaches that boil, or at least a good simmer, gets nice and hot and steaming, we're going to cut that off. We're going to cover the pot and take it off the heat or just turn off the stove. We're gonna let that steep for 20 minutes so that our lavender flavor especially really steeps into that water and we get that good lavender flavor when we're done.
All right, people, we have a new kitty roommate right now.
This one is just temporary. She isn't an adoption or a foster. She's just staying here for a little bit.
Say hello to Darla.
Do you want to give her a closer look to the
Sweet
camera?
girl.
She is super sweet and she's very funny. She has the biggest, roundest eyes most of the time that I've ever seen in a cat.
She's like, what?
Right now she looks more relaxed. Where are the big round eyes today?
Look at the camera.
Oh, so pretty. So pretty.
She's like, okay.
That's enough of that. So we have 20 minutes to relax. It is super, super rainy outside right now. We were going to do a little more like out and about foraging flowers for this, and it's just raining way too much. We did pick a couple edible flowers to decorate with at the end.
I don't know what that one is.
So this one here is radish flowers. I had a radish plant that I never ended up pulling last year from the garden. Radish flowers are edible. They have they're described as more of a slight peppery flavor. They are edible and we're really just using them to make our coffee look cute at the end.
Darla wants one.
Aww. I know. Clover really wanted them. We also have some fresh violets that we just picked this morning. Violets are also edible. You can use them to make violet syrup, which I have been wanting to try for a while, but we never have enough violets come up wild to do anything with. So we're going to use these for garnish to make it look cute. That's it for fresh flowers, but you can look and see what different kinds of edible fresh flowers grow in your area. You can use dandelion petals, you can use rose petals, you can use radish flowers, violets. There's a bunch of different kinds of edible flowers. However, just make sure whatever kind that you use, if you do go out and forage, make sure you look them up and make sure they are safe to eat, because not all flowers are safe to consume.
And we're not trying to poison anybody.
Just
Not right
Nancy
now.
and the games, but not ourselves in real life. I believe that's what you call a double standard.
You try to poison Nancy?
Sometimes, more often her friends though. Let's be honest, like Katie in Deception Island. It's Katie that you poison, right?
With the jellyfish snatch?
Yes. But yeah, I mean, I believe Nancy's an equal opportunist poisoner. She'll poison herself on purpose just as quickly as she will her friends.
Alrighty then.
All for the love of the game.
Alright, it's done brewing.
We're going to strain out those flowers. And we steamed off a bit more water than usual in the process, so we're not going to do that full amount of honey that we were going to do. Let's say a quarter cup of honey with this. This is what our syrup is looking like right now. All it is right now is floral flavored water, basically flower tea. We're going to sweeten that up. Alright, and now it just looks like a regular tea at this stage. Lovely. But it smells good. It smells like honey and lavender. And let's make our espresso for the latte now.
Espresso.
At this point, I think everyone knows the drill, but let's go ahead and get that made. We're gonna make some for each of our cups. We have our espresso made. Now we're gonna get our milk ready. And for this one, I, again, am a sucker for a lavender latte with oat milk specifically. We talked in our last video about how we both really like oat milk. It gives you that nice little oat flavor, kind of like a flavored oatmeal, which, I mean, is kind of a comforting flavor. So as much as we do generally use regular milk in our lattes, today we are using the oat milk. And we have some unsweetened. We're just gonna steam that up like we usually would for the latte.
Wait, whoa.
Yes?
Aren't you forgetting a step?
Add some syrup.
What are we steaming in the milk besides syrup?
Oh yes. Okay, this is an optional step. But when we were going through our around the house and around the yard foraging to figure out what kinds of flowers we had available to use, I did find something I forgot that I had from a previous, not recipe video, but a previous cooking venture, which is, a lot of you have probably already heard of, butterfly pea flowers, which you can use in lemonade to make like a nice pretty pink lemonade, but if you brew them on their own, you get this really nice blue color. We're gonna put a few of the butterfly pea flowers in our steaming pitcher and add our oat milk to that.
We're gonna make blue milk. Do you know what that's from?
Blue milk?
We're making Star Wars milk.
I did not get the reference, sorry. But you can leave this out if you don't want that blue foam.
How much syrup do you want in the milk?
We're gonna put just a couple spoonfuls of the, well, how much are we using? These cups really aren't gonna hold much. This is a large spoon. We're just gonna put a couple good sized spoonfuls of syrup in the pitcher, a couple of flowers, our oat milk, steam. We're gonna end up with a nice, lightly sweetened blue milk, right? We went ahead and steamed our oat milk. Now that it's hot, the flowers haven't fully released that color yet. We're gonna let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes. The longer it sits, the bluer it gets. So you can pick how dark you want your milk to be. And again, this is optional. It's just a little fun extra bonus item.
The longer it sits,
The bluer it gets. We're gonna take those flowers out of our milk and we're gonna foam it back up with the frother. We're gonna take those violets and radish flowers that we showed you all earlier, and we're just gonna decorate the tops of our cups. We can also add some rose petals just to make it look pretty.
Alright guys, we got our lattes done.
I know we said we were going to add some of the rose petals on top as garnish, but we ended up just sticking to the fresh flowers since we had the radishes and the violets.
And I like this color combo better with the blue.
We've got a little swirl of the blue. So.
A little lavender background note. It's not super strong.
Yeah, I do like a lot more lavender in my lattes. I didn't realize, I forgot how small these cups were when we used them, so there's a lot less milk in this than we would usually put in a latte. Yeah, there's not really any left. So I'm at least going to add a little bit more of the lavender syrup to, oh, it looks a lot bluer coming straight out of that actually.
It's because it blended. It was
Yeah.
that. See, look at my swirl.
It's very blue.
My swirl's bluer.
As I make space in the cup, I'm going to add a little more lavender syrup,
Take another
or
sip.
the lavender rose, rather.
Take a sip.
Because it really did need a lot more milk in it than that.
You want more?
It's like 3 drops.
I don't know how much you want.
More than 3 drops.
I don't like a lot.
Okay. Okay. We're using a little cocktail pick to stir it apparently. Being
Taste
very
again.
fancy, very extra.
That's more lavendery.
Okay, yeah, we're getting to where I like it now.
That's actually like the lighter lavender taste, and she likes the stronger lavender taste. So depending on how lavendery you want it.
So it's mostly that lavender flavor. There is a little bit more of a floral note to it than there usually is just doing the lavender syrup. Mostly that's coming from the rose petals that we brewed in the syrup as well. But it's not strong. I wasn't really sure how much we could put of the rose petals without it tasting too much like you're eating a bouquet of flowers. But we managed to avoid that. That worked really well with the amount we used. You get more of a floral taste to it than you would usually, but it's still completely workable.
Yes. I would say
And it's so cute.
if you're not going for a more cute aesthetic cup, get a bigger cup, do more oat milk.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because this is not very milky at all.
No.
The more oat milk with
It's
the
a lot more
lavender
espresso than
will be
anything
really,
else.
really delicious.
But it's still good.
Yeah, it's so good.
That little bit of extra lavender helps. I am gonna try. I've never actually eaten the radish flowers before. I know that they're edible, but I've never eaten them. So I'm gonna try one on its own and just see how the flavor is.
Just like grass.
Reminds me a smidge of like arugula. Like the faintest hint.
Yeah.
Of in that
It
family.
doesn't. It also kind of tastes like broccoli, like the long broccoli.
Yeah. So it's more of a green flavor with that faint hint of a bite to it, but it's such a light flavor. It's not sharp like arugula.
And it also has the faintest taste of radish, which makes sense.
It's fun. I like radish flowers actually. Now,
Make a little radish flower salad.
yeah, well, I usually have. The weather always turns hot, and a lot of my radishes go to seed. But I'm going to have to start picking the radish flowers off a lot of them and putting them in things because I actually really like this flavor. I don't know how well this flavor works with lavender if I was doing it together.
But
it doesn't
it's
really
pretty
catch it.
topper.
Next, also, the violets are edible. I haven't ever tried those
Violets
on there.
don't really taste
People
like
say
much.
that, yeah, every time I've looked at recipes for like violet syrup, people say it looks pretty, but it doesn't really have much of a specific flavor to it. So I'm going to try one of the violets just on its own.
Just tastes green.
Yeah. With the radish, you get more different flavors in there. The violet, it just tastes
That's
like
really light.
hardly anything.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. It doesn't take away from the flavor. It doesn't add to the flavor. It's just cute. It makes a really nice garnish. But the violet syrup that every spring I say I wish I could find enough flowers to make, honestly, I think the only draw there would be that it would be really pretty.
I will say, guys, the blue milk is fun.
It is.
I like that.
You're going to start making blue foam for your lattes?
Maybe.
Bye.
Bye, princess.
Bye, honey. And again, it's optional, but when we were digging through the cabinets, I realized we still had the butterfly pea flowers left over from something else. Those you will pretty much guaranteed have to order if you want those. They don't really add much to the flavor. They do have also a floral flavor if you use a lot of them. So again, you kind of taste like you're licking a flower. if you use a lot of butterfly pea flowers.
We
But
didn't
they're
use
fun to
enough
use in
for it
things.
to taste like that though.
No, we just got a nice light blue, not a really dark color.
It's a good blue, I think, the way it ended up.
Yeah, it was a pretty color. I'm just saying we didn't put so many that it turned dark.
Isn't it crazy that you can make pigments that nice with natural stuff?
Honestly, this one here, our last coffee, we did the honey and the syrup, and granted we reduced it, but the honey flavor was super prevalent. I thought we were still going to have a rather prevalent honey flavor in this one.
Maybe
And
pine
it's
needle
not. It's
just
just
makes
lightly
a really
sweet.
light flavor. I had some pine needle tea the other day, and I like couldn't taste the pine needle at all.
Was that just, well, you had a blend. You bought a blend.
I bought a blend. It was incredibly light flavored all around.
I don't think pine needle's such a light flavor because it definitely gave like a dark citrus sort of note to the syrup when we made it on that last recipe. But maybe it's just dependent on how long you cook it and how much you reduce it.
Yeah.
I suppose this pick is working rather well to pick out my radish flowers to eat.
All right, final review.
Feeling very fancy with
Final
my little
review.
carved pick.
Final review.
Final review. I always like my lavender and coffee combos. The radish flowers were a very fun try. That was a last minute addition because one of the plants had just started blooming this week. And I have a new fun thing to try this summer, putting it in a bunch of different things because I actually really like this flavor.
Yeah, but you can use whatever edible flowers grow around your area.
But yeah, so this latte isn't as much of a completely original idea. I can't speak. You can get lavender lattes at most. Big.
Several of our lattes have not been completely original.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't mean it's not delicious.
But it's good, and it's very fun to just drink something that is so pretty to look at with all the flowers on top, and try the different aspects of trying new flowers, edible flowers that I haven't tried before. And the blue oat milk was a new thing.
It was definitely fun.
It was fun.
And
This
I
is a
think
very fun
As
one.
far as, which like she said, it's not quite as experimental as our last two. As far as experimental, it turned out better. The last two. The last two were fine. And honestly, the dirt theme turned out actually way better than I thought.
I really liked that one there.
Yeah.
Our
But
Fields of Fortitude
all
coffee.
of them have been fine, but this one actually turned out good. Like I could drink
I
this
thought
again.
that the herbal one was very good. I really like the syrup in tea. I ended up just using all the leftover syrup and
Honestly,
I made a big
2
old
months
pot
is
of
so
black
long
tea.
ago. I'm blanking on the flavor right now, but I think that one was good. I'm just
Yeah,
it's been
it
a
was
minute
really
since
good. I
had
ended
it.
up, the more I drank it, the more I liked it. The first sip was definitely a very different flavor, but the more I drank of that one, the more I liked it.
Uh-huh.
And this one, I always like it, but sometimes it's nice to have your coffee be as pretty as it is tasty.
And like
and
I
that's
said,
more of what it is. This
do
one.
more than a splash of oat milk, because right now it's not really even a latte. It's more like
Either do a smaller shot of espresso or do a bigger cup.
All right, y'all. As always, we love to see your recommendations. So, what is next month?
Next month,
I think it's grass. So we
let me pull it back up. I had it.
we
open.
will be experimenting yet again.
Okay. Yes. Come June, he tends to the grass.
So we could do wheatgrass, which would be disgusting. We could do
What else?
lemongrass. We could do, I don't know. Like always, it's kind of, we never really know until last minute what
Yeah.
we're gonna do.
I think next month is the one I've had the least ideas for. So we've had our dirt, we've had our flowers. Now
we
it's time
need
to
the
have our grass.
grass.
So yes, comment down below. Let us know if you have any inspiration because right now
We're crickets.
in the grass.
Yeah.
Cheep, cheep, cheep. Anyway, until next time, go source yourself some pretty flowers. Make your coffees look super, super cute. Let us know what kind of flowers you use, if you use different ones than we did today, and what your favorite part of it was. What your favorite flower that you used was, which one tasted the best on its own.
And until next time, we'll see you then.
Bye!
Bye.
Mystery time.
There's a mystery.
You're creating a lot of footage that I'm gonna have to edit through.
Oh dear, let's be honest, you leave most of the footage in there anyway.
Because we always have to have a little pick-me-up at the end.
It's not just a little pick-me-up at the end, it's the whole thing.
What would you call it if it's not a little pick-me-up?
La da da, la da da.
That's what you call it?
La da da, la. going on. Are you okay? Is there something in your eye?
It's gone batting your lashes, Sharon. Goodness.
I'm sorry.